Once again, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have to avoid the trap. And hopefully, after a victory this Sunday, they go and take a visit up to Trader Joe's. James Worthington is here. I'm Adrian Fedque. The Eagles are heavy favorites heading into Sunday's matchup against the 49ers. But guess what, people? The Eagles have actually lost 4 of their last 6 games, and they've been favored by double digits. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to date back quite a ways. We were talking about it a little before the show, the Joe Webb game, and you know, those were horrible. But like we've been saying all year, this team has a much different feeling to it, and it really starts with the quarterback. He's got his fingerprints all over the team. Had his coming out party on Monday. I mean, everybody knows about him nationally. So, you know, I look at it one of 2 ways. Like, I fully expect them to go out there and win the game. How they do it, I don't really care as long as we get the W. But, you know, in the end, like, every team has a stinker. It's pretty rare that you see a team go a full season without losing a game they shouldn't. And after that big emotional win Monday, who knows what's going to happen. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the Eagles should handle this game. It shouldn't be difficult for them. But we say shouldn't because it hasn't happened yet, and there's a reason they play.
Yeah. There's a reason why they play the games. And the weather's supposed to be real crummy. So if the weather is real crummy, that actually, I think, favors the Niners side of things. So, because I think this is a matchup where Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, Nelson Aguilar should be able to get open often against that 49ers secondary. Their run defense, in terms of their yards, they give up a lot of yards, but they play from behind a lot, so they've allowed the most carries in the league. But in terms of their yards per carry, they're 3.9 as opposed to the Eagles, 3.8. The Eagles actually are number 1 in rush defense, but they're always playing ahead, and their weakness is at cornerback. So that's why I like looking at yards per carry. That's the number I like looking at. I don't care about yards per game. Yards per game can be easily misconstrued. So I look at the other route. And, you know, if this game is rainy, then you're going to see a lot of LeGarrette Blount. But if it's rainy, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't want it to be rainy. I want it to be nice out. I want Carson Wentz to fling it.
Yeah, I mean, well, definitely, man. I mean, after Monday, how could anyone say they don't want to see him, slinging around the field? But I'm also a little, like, tempted to see how he does throw in bad conditions. I don't remember him really having a bad condition game. So I'd be interested to see how he handles it. I mean, he is from North Dakota, so I'm going to imagine he's played in some weather. I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, they did play in a dome.
They do play in a dome. That's right. So that he probably hasn't. So, yeah, I mean, who knows how he'll handle it. And if you're going to be playing playoff football in Philly, you best be able to throw in bad conditions. So it could be a good test game for them. I mean, I heard it's supposed to actually thunderstorm a lot. So that, I mean, who knows how that's going to happen. I mean, if there's lightning and stuff, the game can get delayed. And every time things like that happen, man, that definitely could favor the underdog, which, you know, you don't want to see that. I mean, the Eagles are clearly the better team on paper to the eye. So obviously ideal conditions, I think it would be easy. But weird, fluky things happen when it's muddy, you know, bad conditions. So, we'll have to see. But ideally, if it is raining a lot, we can get that run game going with LeGarrette Blount, get him going downhill, get our O-line, you know, get their confidence back because they just lost their leader for the season. So we want to see Big V step in there, whether it's going to be a left tackle or right tackle. It'd be good for his confidence if we could have a good game running the football.
Yeah, and, you know, in terms of running the football, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's going to be easy because DeForest Buckner coming into his own. They got Solomon Thomas there. So they have some players in their front seven. What's that?
Reuben Foster, too.
Yeah, Reuben Foster. So, you know, they got some pieces there. Now, obviously, I think their back end is a lot weaker. I mean, Dante Johnson, you're looking at Rashad Robinson are your 2 starting cornerbacks. Kawan Williams is their nickel guy, I believe. So in terms of their corners, I mean, they're really lacking in the secondary. But in terms of trying to run the football against them, Eagles will be able to, but it may not be like easy sledding.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I've kind of said all year, even if you struggle with the run, like look, Garrett Blunt's the type of guy he gets going in the late third or fourth quarter. So I'd like to see them stick to it. I mean, we've been going pass a lot. I really it's going to come down to the game plan. I think that they've been putting together really good game plans to just kind of match their opponent's weaknesses and take advantage of it. They've been finding good matchups all over the field. So yeah, I mean, the weather's really going to kind of throw a curveball at them because you look at it on paper and our receivers should be able to eat all day with these cornerbacks. And if Carson can't throw it in the rain, or if it's torrential downpours, if there's a lot of wind, I mean, you might see a lot of shorter stuff underneath. Yeah. And that could definitely bring more guys up into the box, which could make running the football harder. So, I mean, it's definitely just, you're going to have to wait and see what the weather's like, because how often are weather guys wrong? It could just be sunny, which would be great for us.
Yeah, right. So it's like I look at the running game in like a couple different ways. One, it's important to run the ball for not only the confidence of the O-line and Big V, but obviously it opens up the passing game as well. So you look at Big V making a start here. Thomas, a little bit different now. He's going to be on the left side. He's not going to be on the right side. So it's a good opening start, I guess, for him at left tackle. This is a good test. It's not someone.
Sorry to interrupt. Did they make that official today? That Big V's going to be left tackle?
I guess they haven't made anything official. I'm just assuming it. So right. So if I'm wrong, then I made an ass out of myself.
I would have been. I just missed it. I was been like, damn, I should have heard that.
Yeah, well, I know that he's been indicating it all week. So the fact that he's been indicating it, I'm assuming it. But watch him, like, it could be like he's indicating it for one of two reasons. One, he wants Lane Johnson to stay at right tackle because maybe they're trying to trade for somebody. Or two, just wants to keep him on the right side. Yeah. And quite frankly, I don't necessarily disagree with it because he's a better run blocker. Protection, he's kind of average. I don't think that's a strong suit of his.
No, I mean, I've definitely seen Lane, or you're talking Lane Johnson, you broke up there, right? Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I've definitely seen Lane Johnson get beat in pass protection. He's had his good game, his really good games, but he's had some bad games too. Sometimes he overextends a little bit, I've noticed. Whereas, honestly, just to say one thing, Jason Peters was playing absolutely out of his mind this year. It's such a shame he went down just because he really elevated his level of play. And I mean, immediately as he went down, he was talking to Big V. He told him to just basically don't overextend, calm down, get out there. And I don't think Vaitai, he held his own out there. And after the Washington game last year, he held his own. It wasn't right tackle. So we'll have to see how he handles it because I'm thinking they'll put him at left tackle because Lane's just been so good at right tackle, and they have the potential of dealing for a left tackle, which I would not be opposed to at all. I mean, yeah, if he can't hold his own out there, I mean, they're gonna have to do something about it quick. I mean, I'm imagining they're not going to leave him on an island because we saw that worked last year.
Yeah. See, I think what people are going to take for granted, I don't think people understand what Jason Peters actually was doing this season. Because when I was doing my video yesterday talking about some replacements, a lot of people were saying that they were confident in Big V, just trust it, throw him out there, see what happens. Well, the problem is the trade deadline is on Tuesday. Yeah. You don't have time to throw him out there and see what happens. There's none of that right now. They have to make a decision by Tuesday. If they want to go and try and win a Super Bowl this year, God, I said the S word. They have to go make a move. And out of all the options that I went through, Joe Staley is the perfect option. Now, I'll ask you in a second who you would be interested in, but there's two parts to this. Who would you be interested in, and how much are you willing to give up? Because the Eagles have to make a decision about what they want to prioritize. And the Niners have said, well, Kyle Shanahan has said that it's going to take a lot for them to part ways with him, whether that's GM talk, which is most likely the case to drive the price up, or the fact that they kind of need him because they have a young quarterback and they're going to draft another one next year.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And anytime you take away your left tackle, who's Joe Staley's, I mean, he's wouldn't say he's incredible, but he's a very solid player. Like he's definitely better than Big V. If you're going to take him away, you saw what had happened when Wentz lost one of his good tackles last year. It did, his confidence went right down. And on Joe Staley, I mean, they know the Eagles need a tackle now, so they can pretty much kind of the same thing with like when we traded Bradford to the Vikings. You can kind of drive up the price. I don't want to pay that much because I'm scared we don't have that many picks to trade. And I really don't think we should be merging the future like insanely amount. But at the same time, all the dominoes are kind of falling into place this year. I mean, we saw Rodgers is down. The Falcons aren't that good. New England's kind of starting to get their defense going again, but I think they just lost Hightower again. If I'm not mistaken.
Hightower, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
every team is losing guys. It's not just the Eagles.
No, yeah, I mean that's part of football, man. I mean that's why you got to have depth, and that's why the Eagles do at a lot of positions have depth. Unfortunately, offensive tackle isn't one of them.
They had that. Yeah, they had that.
Yeah, until they got rid of Barber, man. But yeah, I mean, as a fan, I want to see him go make a deal. As like if I was trying to look at it unbiasedly, I mean. It's going to be tough. You've already given up so many picks. Like, what do we have left? We have a first and like a third or something, and like some late round picks, right? Like, we don't have much.
There's a part of me that's just like, just go and do it, and I'm afraid to look at what they're going to give up.
Yeah, I'm the same way with you, man. I'm literally the same way because we need it, and this is even though Carson's only in his second year, feels like it could be the year. Like it does. I don't want to get my hopes up, but it just the way looking at it, it does, and the way this team's.
Well, you're basically you see it the same way I do.
Yeah.
That the dominoes are falling. Green Bay may not make a postseason run. I mean, they're saying Seattle is the second best team in the conference. I'm not scared of them at all. This is the worst Seattle team that they've had in 5 years. So the dominoes are in place, and if you can get a Joe Staley, see, here's the other thing too. And people aren't talking about this. Because people are like, all right, well, you're going to get Joe Staley. Well, what about Jason Peters?
He might retire.
Well, not only might retire, but the other thing that might happen is this. If you've listened to Doug Peterson in the past, he's brought this up a lot of times where he's brought up that, Jason Peters is going to kick inside later on in his career. So what if they trade for Joe Staley? Jason Peters is your left guard. You trade or release Jason Kelsey and frees up money for Jeffrey, Jernigan, other guys to resign. That's where I'd go. I'd go Staley, trade for him. I have a feeling that it's going to take not only one pick, but two.
I think so, too.
I think it's going to be like, I'd say a fourth and a third, or maybe even a fourth and a second. And if you give up a second, it'd have to be in 2019 because you don't even have one this year. So I think it's probably going to be more than you think because of what just happened. We're going to get Sam Bradford.
I'll tell you what, though. I actually haven't heard that Peters might kick inside. I actually don't know if he'd even go for that. Just because I know he loves to be that left tackle. And look at the level he was playing at. I mean, even at this age, he was playing at such a high level. I heard somebody call in the radio the other day, he was already losing a step. It's like, yeah, he's lost a step in speed, but he's been playing at a Pro Bowl level all season. I mean, the offensive line started off a little slow, but they all picked it up. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to see him kicked in. And then maybe, get rid of Kelsey, free up some space. But also, I honestly – unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to recover from this injury. I mean, he's so old. And look at, he looks at it this way. He wants to come back for another ring, but who knows if he's going to be able to. It's his ACL and his MCL. They're saying Sproles might be done. It sucks to see it, man. And if this team does somehow find a way to win the Super Bowl, they're both done. So maybe going out.
Yes, I would.
Going and getting Joe Staley, then that gives you our left tackle for next year at least and holds us over. Doesn't force us to draft a tackle in this draft because if we don't get a replacement, we're rolling in with Big V for the rest of the year. Even if he plays good this weekend, he plays good for the rest of the season. You still have to draft a left tackle. I want Lane to stay at right tackle, and I want to get another Jason Peters-esque player at left. I think honestly, find me a team with two better tackles. It's pretty tough to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here, and it's just you got to think about the future. But I mean, it's right there in front of you, man. And if they were able to make it happen this year, we'd be fine with maybe winning the division and not going to the Super Bowl. God, I'm sounding greedy now.
It's okay, dude. I mean, I got bitched at 2 weeks ago when I said that things were opening up and that the Eagles might be a favorite in the NFC. Now all of a sudden it's 2 weeks later and I'm looking smarter and smarter. People are still telling me to calm the fuck down. That's okay, but
I mean,
I see the Red Sea and it's parting.
You look at the way this roster is put together 2 weeks ago, we'll talk about that. The way it was put together, the way the team was starting to play, the way Wentz was playing, and our biggest weakness, cornerbacks, they were playing good, which was such a surprise to me. I was feeling it too, and I wasn't trying to look ahead or anything, but I was like, they're a legitimate contender. Everybody's waiting for the bubble to kind of burst here, and is it going to? Who knows? I don't think so. Not if you got this quarterback. And this defense, even without Hicks, man, they're going to fly around. They play hard. Jim Schwartz has got them playing great, puts them in a position to win every week. So, I mean, I can't, even though we're both huge Eagles fans, I don't think we're homers for saying that even 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah. So, I definitely agree with you there.
Well, I mean, I'm the Eagles realist. I was the one that was getting bitched at, saying that I'm not really an Eagles fan because I was too negative.
Yeah, no, I know. You're unbiased. It's good.
Yeah, and then now all of a sudden, because I'm happy-go-lucky saying the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, all of a sudden now I'm biased.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at the national media, though. I mean, again, I guess everybody's biased then,
Yeah, for real. Freaking no worse than Skip Bayless.
Oh, God. Oh, God. He's the worst, man.
Well, since this show is turned into a not Eagles 49ers preview, we'll continue it that way. So let's get into Jordan Hicks, talk about him a little bit. And, kind of off the wall thinking, but the Jordan Hicks injury kind of tells me even more that Sidney Jones might be coming back. And the reason why I say that is not that the cornerbacks are a weakness anymore, because they're not. But if Sidney Jones does come back and you bring him back slowly, and by the end of the season he's playing well, all of a sudden your big weakness is that inside linebacker, and that's really it on the defense. I don't know whether Sidney Jones is coming back or not, dude. I don't know what to say about that, so I'll just tell you that right now. But you look at this. I mean, I feel like the linebacker spot is less of a catastrophe than the Peters injury, because nickel is your base and you're gonna have Kendricks and Bradham out there most of the time. But I still think it's still an important vacancy, because Hicks' zone coverage was really good, and when you watch Najee good, it's not good. Joe Walker isn't good either.
No, neither of them looked that good out there. I mean, I know they were preparing all week to play special teams, but you still have to be ready to step in as a backup. I mean, they're both slow. They're not. I mean, Jordan Hicks, man, not even his play on the field, but the how smart he is. He is the quarterback of the defense. He was getting the guys up front in position to make plays. He was moving them around. So people got to think about that too. It could affect our defensive line. I don't think it's going to, because we have so much talent, but it could. And that's kind of scary, because that is the strength of our defense. I mean, we're going to miss him. I'm on your side of things. I think Peters is a bigger loss. But, I mean, Jordan Hicks, man, it's still a huge loss. And, I mean, now look at his career. Is he an injury-prone player forever? Is he going to be ever? He played all 16 games last year for the first time, and he was hurt all college. So, I mean, are we able to even depend on him? Now I really wish we would have tried to get Navarro Bowman, man. Would have been.
Well, I wanted to sign him, and they didn't. So,
well, he might have been I want to stay out west.
Honestly, he wasn't signing because he went to Oakland, so obviously he was.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, and it's interesting, man. This is how this video is gone. We were talking about it before, we're kind of looking past this game already, and it is kind of the midway point through the season where you kind of start looking forward. It's scary, man, because I'm almost conditioned to have this in the back of my mind that everybody's looking past this game, and this is a team, and if we don't fucking play at least our B game, we're gonna lose, because I don't care if you come out and play like shit. That'll be the game San Francisco plays amazing, The one thing going for us, even if we do come out bad, is they have a rookie quarterback. And I think that regardless, whether our offense struggles, I mean, I'd be surprised to see this team really do much to us. I mean, who's their best receiver? Like, I had their depth chart up. Like, I mean, I don't even know. Like, Pierre Garcon. Who am I kidding? Okay. I had a blank.
I think you have him.
Oh, then they have the Eagle Killer, Pierre. Maybe we should talk about the game more.
Well, I'll tell you this. CJ Beathard has no fucking chance. First of all, I don't know where the hell he got this pub like out of nowhere. I don't get it. He played okay against Washington. I watched the game. He kind of stunk, actually. He missed a lot of throws. He's not accurate. He's good outside the pocket. He kind of scrambles around a little bit, but he's nothing to worry about. And you look at the interior of their offensive line. Laken Tomlinson, their left guard, complete flop in Detroit. Now he's in San Francisco. Daniel Kilgore is solid at center. He's okay. Brandon Fusco, their right guard. So I'm looking at Fletcher Cox, Timmy Jernigan, and some deep penetration.
Hey, man, I mean, they've been blowing it up all year. Just going back to what you said earlier, I honestly think Jernigan has to be our number one priority in free agency, as much as I love what Jeffrey's been doing for our offense. Not statistically wise, just opening things up. Jernigan and Cox together is almost like a perfect tandem. Like, it's unbelievable, and they love playing together. And I don't care about spending money at D-tackle. People say it's too much. I'm fine with putting money into it, because if you have two defensive tackles that can blow up pretty much any play at any given time, like, that hides a lot of other weaknesses. And that could help us at the middle linebacker position. Just those two stepping up their game a little more, even though I don't know how you step up much from what they've been playing. Like, they've been both unbelievable this season. It's been a joy to watch, honestly.
Trying to figure out how many sacks he has. So he has 1.5. Wow, I would have thought he had more, actually.
We've had a lot. No, this defense hasn't had that many sacks. They've had so many hurries and hits.
It's because opposing teams are getting the ball out so quick.
Yep.
Now, I've charted most of the games. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the way it works is this: is whenever a team takes a deep drop, Eagles are always getting pressure, like every time. So it's making opposing offense is very predictable, obviously, if they're trying to get the ball out real quick most of the time. So there's a lot of that, and obviously your route tree is limited when you the quicker you get the ball out. So the Eagles kind of know what's coming more so, but the deeper drops, it's just not working against the Birds. And if you fall behind, you got no shot, because you can't dink and dunk your way down the field down 14, in the fourth quarter. So that doesn't work. So you start taking deeper drops, and that's why we see the Eagles racking up a lot of the sacks and putting games away in the fourth quarter. That's why this is happening.
It's a beautiful thing, too, man. I loved it. And I loved Derek Barnett getting 2 sacks the other night.
Yeah.
I love it, man. He's on the board officially. I think he had, just a half sack before that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that was awesome seeing him get up there, get his confidence going. Supposedly, I think it was Fletcher. I was listening to Fletcher talking, and Barnett told him he was going to go out there and get one more before it was all said and done. And Cox had a little bit of a bet with him, and then he's like, I'll get one before you. You ain't beating me. And then Barnett went out there and got it. He's like, damn, he did it. So that's great. And, I'm glad to see him kind of, really gelling with these guys, because I think another thing about this team is, like, they love playing together, and they really look like they are friends off the field, which is awesome. And I don't care what anybody says in football, professional, high school, college, that naturally makes your team better, because you play harder for one another. And that's something that I haven't seen in the Eagles in a long time, probably since like 04, 05. Well, obviously not 05, but 04, you know what I'm saying, those teams. So it's great to see that, man. I mean, sorry, I'm getting a little off topic, but I mean, that's just, it's great to see. And yeah, this game, man, they're not losing this, man. I don't care if it hails. Not going to happen.
You know what I could see, though? I could see us, like, trailing at halftime.
Oh, I could see us in a dogfight, 100%.
I could see it being close for a half, and then just shit on.
If we're trailing at halftime, these team leaders are going to be freaking shit. You don't even need the coaches to say anything.
No.
Jenkins and Carson will be freaking screaming. Because, Carson, at this point, he can say whatever the hell he wants. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's fiery. Like I saw him getting fired up the other night on the runs and everything. I'm like, all right, I like this, man. I like it a lot. It's awesome. So yeah, I mean, this game, I could see it being a dogfight, especially if it's like muddy and raining a lot. And even if San Fran's up, say like 17-7 at halftime, they will not lose this game. Not in front of the home crowd. They can't happen. What are we now? 9-2 or 10-2 in the last whatever at home.
Yeah,
like home field advantage is back in Philly, man.
It is. No, it really is. And you know, from hearing it from you and like hearing it from other people, it's as loud as it's been there in a long time.
Oh, it's insane. It was absolutely insane. Like I came home from the game. I couldn't talk the next day. Like my voice was just gone. And all my buddies that went there, it was the same thing. Like, and another thing, like they keep the crowd in it with these big plays. Like, you know, we can get, if it's a little close here and there, like we're loud on defense when it's third down. But like these big plays on offense, the crowd gets right back into it because it's easy to kind of settle down a little bit and to just enjoy the game, especially when you're on offense. You don't want to be that loud. But, you know, I don't know if you can hear it on TV, but he hits that bomb to Hollins, and it just erupts. It's been a great environment. And, you know, these players say it. They love playing at home. They absolutely love it, which, you know, looking forward tells me how important every game is because if we are going to go to the Super Bowl, we need home field advantage. I mean, I'm confident with them going on the road, but us at home, we're pretty close to unbeatable. I'm not going to say we're unbeatable, but it's pretty close at this point.
Yeah, and home field advantage is certainly attainable. The schedule is not that difficult. That's the crazy thing is this schedule of ours was not even close to being as hard as we thought it was going to be. Like we thought it was going to be extremely difficult, but some of these teams just not as good as we thought they were going to be.
Yeah. 100%, man. I mean, Denver is still, just because of their defense, is still going to be tough.
Yep.
Oakland's kind of coming back a little bit. I actually picked them over Kansas City the other night. I'm happy, dude. I was like, I don't know. I didn't make one.
Well, I didn't. I picked Oakland, but I picked them against the spread. So I don't know if that.
I picked them outright. I was just like, dude, I think they're winning, and so I think Oakland's still going to be tough. But I mean, Dallas is like, I think we're head and shoulders better than Dallas.
We're gonna beat the shit out of Dallas.
I think we're going to beat the shit out of Dallas in Dallas, and then that last game they might win because it doesn't mean anything.
I agree.
But and then the one game, man, honestly, I hate to say it, don't sleep on the Rams, man.
Oh, dude, I feel like
they're with Peterson for Coach of the Year, in my opinion.
I will go with Sean McVay as Coach of the Year.
Well, what he's done with the Rams is unbelievable. They're the highest scoring offense in the league, too.
Dude, it's that. I mean, I know some people are saying Doug Peterson coach it. No, it's Sean McVay. What he's doing with that team, and to be honest with you, Jared Goff isn't even impressing me. I'm sorry, he's not. Sean McVay is making Jared Goff.
I mean, yeah, Jared Goff. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, he's looking great. He's looking great." The one thing he has is like he looks good when he throws the football. Like
that's so true.
He looks good coming in. Like I don't know what it is.
He's not
like, he's some throws. Like he's definitely like he's not like killing it. He's definitely a lot better than last year. But that's what it is. It just my dad said it. Oh, he's really smooth out there. He looks really good out there. I'm like, yeah, to the eye. Like he looks good throwing the football. Like, and honestly, with that running game, look at Todd Gurley, man. Any quarterback's gonna look better with Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
When
you have guys like running free over the middle and you're throwing the ball low and not hitting them in stride so they can maximize yards after the catch, I'm not going to give you credit. Sorry. Carson Wentz, on the other hand, his ball placement has been impeccable.
Oh my gosh! Oh, like it was unbelievable. Some of those throws he was making Monday, unbelievable, man. And it's crazy to think, like, what a month ago we were talking about how he couldn't throw the deep ball.
Yeah.
But we knew it. We knew he'd get better.
Here it is. I found it. Voided.
That's hilarious.
Voided.
I love it.
Can you? This like that. Like I've heard so many people say like he's been great this year, and I've watched most of their games. I don't see it.
I mean, he's definitely like improved. Like that's what.
Yeah, absolutely
definitely improved, and he doesn't look like a freaking bust anymore. I thought he was potentially
he basically for him to complete passes, he needs a clean pocket. Because if he gets pressured, he gets scared. You want to talk about deer in headlights, Skip?
Well, that's why I'm not
about deer in headlights. Jared Goff not
That's
Carson
that's
Wentz.
why, like, I do think we'll go out there and win that game when we actually play them. But I mean, we're definitely not going to go 15-1. There's some games we're going to lose. So if
Yeah.
I'll just be pissed if we lose to Jared Goff, man. Like, oh, that would suck.
I feel like we're going to split Seattle and LA.
Yeah,
If we beat Seattle, we'll lose to LA. If we lose to Seattle, we'll beat the Rams. That's the way I see it.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad though we didn't split your previous Carolina Washington thing.
Yeah, right?
So happy, man. So happy.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
man,
did
it's
not.
been
And I got both games right because my gut said we're going to beat Carolina. See, when we're doing this game by game basis, I'm getting all the games right.
yeah. It's just when you look at the full season, you're like, well, they have to lose somewhere.
Yeah, you feel like, all right, they're going to lose. That's that unbiased of me.
Yeah.
Play like, all right, they're not going to go 15-1. Fuck that. So I'll give them an L somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now they're going to be 8-1 before the bye. Like,
I mean,
I
hell,
was like, all right, they're definitely going to lose a game before the
I mean,
bye.
if they lose one more game before the last game of the season, and they could end up 13-3, which is like not that unrealistic, but you know, we it's still got to. We have to see how they respond to these injuries. I mean, as much as I would like to sit here and say, you know, they should be pretty much favored in every game that they have left. But I mean, who knows, man? It's scary, and I honestly don't think people are taking these injuries seriously enough. Like people are, oh, we're gonna be fine. Like I think we're this and that. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like we're gonna have a huge hole at inside linebacker. If Big V can't hold his own, I don't hate to say it, but I'm gonna be scared for Carson out there. He's already taken a lot of hits.
Yeah.
Thank God he's big, man, and he's really slippery. He gets out of a lot.
It makes the run game more predictable.
Yeah.
I don't know if people kind of understand where I'm coming from when I say that, but when Big V was in at right tackle last year, I charted games where they would only run on the right side like once or twice a game, and that's it. So in this situation, now that he's playing left tackle, they're probably going to run most of the time along the right side. And
And they're undersized now. I mean, on the left side, like Wiz and like Big V's, he's not a tiny guy, but I don't think he plays that big. Like he's not like the strongest guy in the world. I think he's kind of got slow feet.
Yeah, and he's more of a pass pro guy. He's not going to go out on the second level like Jason Peters and go pancake a guy and run blocking. Like that's the thing is I don't, when you say that people don't understand the loss, that's where it is. It's in run blocking. It's right here. Pass protection, even though Big V isn't Jason Peters in pass protection, at least he's like above average in pass protection. But run blocking, that's what we're gonna see.
You can chip for him on pass protection. Like you can help you guys out on the edges there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean and that's what I'm gonna be watching for a lot. Is this game is just because again, like we've said, like they're gonna win this game. And I feel weird saying that because I'm usually like they gotta play the game and they gotta.
Right, like I said, man, 4 of the last 6 games they've lost when they've been favored by 10 or more points. That's a crazy stat.
Wild. It's wild. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see, man. Hopefully they prove us wrong. Maybe they'll try to run behind Big V in the beginning, get them going. We'll see. Yeah, I'm just really interested to see how they come out and what their offensive game plan is, if they're going to try and hide him out there or if they're going to have complete confidence in him. Because if he can't hold his own, the defenses are just going to start teeing off on that side of the line, and that really opens up a lot of things down the road. And who knows, man, like Denver could see something San Francisco does, expand on that and get better, and then another team's going to see that. And once the blueprint's out there, it's bad. This team didn't have – the biggest weakness was honestly playing not like a weakness before these injuries happened. And now who knows, man? Like it worries me. But this week we're gonna be fine. This week it's just next week, man. I mean, Von Miller and Shane Ray coming out there, dude.
Oh, fuck.
It's definitely sketchy.
They're gonna move like Von Miller around too. He's not just gonna stay on Lane Johnson's side.
No way. They'll move him all over the field. I mean, Denver's defense is incredible, man. And their weakness last year was the running defense, and they've shored that up 100%. And Carson, God, man, those corners are scary. I don't want to see him throwing picks in the beginning and get his confidence rattled. So, I mean, it's been it's going to be a nice 3-game home stretch for him going into the bye. If they beat San Fran, we'll see how they play against Denver. Even if they lose, just get out of there healthy. 7-2 at the bye. Anybody would take that before the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Denver's offense is trash. Like
It is. Well, that because they have no Emmanuel Sanders now, so they're very limited.
and they haven't been running the football like they were. They were running the ball really well in the beginning of the year.
Yes, yeah. First couple weeks of the season, C.J. Anderson was like up there in the top 5 in rushing yards. So their zone blocking was doing very well. So back to this game. Um, I mean, I'm going to ask you, like, who on the Niners do you fear? There's nobody that
Uh,
you realistically fear. You're going to give me Carlos Hyde?
no, Carlos Hyde. I don't fear. I honestly don't fear running games against this defense. Like
I don't.
not even Dallas and Ezekiel Elliott. Not even like the only maybe Pittsburgh just because of how patient Le'Veon Bell is. Honestly, there's nobody in the league that runs like him. But on this team, I mean, dude, Pierre Garçon, just because of what he's done to us in the past, but he has no quarterback, so really, like nobody. But Pierre Garçon would be the one guy just because of what he's done in the past. I could see giving us a little bit of trouble, and I honestly think he's a pretty underrated receiver. But you need somebody to get you the ball, and I don't think Beth Hard. I always think I want to say beat hard. I don't know why, dude.
Beat hard.
DJ beat hard, man. He's gonna be hitting the ground hard. I'll tell you that. I see this defense freaking rattling his shit. So I mean, I'm not fearing anybody on the offense. Defensively, they're young. There's talent there, but they're young, and I think that's gonna be. So I'm not really too scared of anybody. I mean, unless Reuben Foster just has the most crazy coming out party ever, which I love Reuben Foster going forward. I think he's gonna be great, but this is his second or third start. So I'm not really fearful of anybody. No.
I am petrified of Raheem Mostert.
Oh yeah. Who the hell's that, dude?
That's the guy that broke out for us in one preseason. Mostert. He was
yeah.
running back.
Dude, I remember him now. I remember seeing the name. I saw the name pop in my head. I remember him now.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert. Yeah, they got like a trio there. Matt Breida is getting more and more carries for them.
I've seen him. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not scared now.
I like my prediction for this game is like they might trail at halftime and still cover the spread. Like that's the way I'm kind of leaning here.
Well, this offense is really explosive. They can go off at any time. I mean, we're seeing the big plays now. So, I mean, I honestly am looking at it two ways. If it rains, I could see it being like 27-17, 24-17. If it doesn't, if it's good weather, like 33-13, man. Like, it's going to be a blowout if it's good weather. Now watch, it'll be good weather and we'll freaking win by a field goal.
Yeah, I don't see how – because I don't think they match up well with us at all. Like this isn't even a situation where you have an underdog that kind of matches up well. I just don't – I don't see a situation how they can win. So
they're interior of the offensive line. You hit the nail on the head, man. Like
yeah. I got 34-17. I'll go with that, and I'll say that like San Francisco leads like I don't know 14-10 at the break or something.
I can see it happening. I can see it. You might get a couple texts from me during the game if we're losing at halftime. Be like, I don't like this.
I don't like this. I don't like the way this is looking.
Yeah. I know, man. I mean, it's it's that's what you said before coming into this. Like, it's not a lot to say about this game. Like, they just got to go out there and take care of business. And this is a team that should do that. This is a team that feels different than our typical Eagles teams of the past. So I would be absolutely shocked if they lose this game. Absolutely shocked.
Absolutely. Things feel different because of this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Not because of this guy. Voided. Null and void. There we go.
Get him.
By the way, did I ever speculate what we would potentially trade for Joe Staley? Did I say
like a second and a fourth, I think.
Okay. All right. I don't remember if I did or not.
Yeah. I mean, who else is out there? Is there anybody? There's not really anybody else on the market. I heard Ryan.
There are others in the market. I feel like some of them are too expensive. There's what's his face? Cordy Glenn from Buffalo, but I believe he's like $9 or something million for next year. And Joe Staley is $7.75 million this next year and the year after. That's like cheap.
Yeah, for a left tackle.
Yeah, that's like cheap. So that's why I'm interested in him. And I still feel like he's like a top 10 tackle in the league, like fringe top 10. And then the other guys are Dwayne Brown. Dwayne
I
Brown
heard that.
has been mentioned, but he held out the first 6 games of the year, 7 games of the year, whatever it was, and he hasn't played. So do you really want to trade for a guy that held out for a contract, is going to want a new contract, might have to pay him a lot? Do you really want that? Probably not. Cordy Glenn, probably too expensive. There's another one, forget off the top of my head, but another one that's like too expensive. There's you have to be smart about this.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm trying to think of the one guy that I heard. I don't know if it's it's not. No, I can't remember. I thought I knew you were talking about, but I tried looking a guy up and it's not him. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like it's Joe Staley or bust. It's kind of weird because like we're playing them this weekend, so if we just play them, make a deal.
They're not going to be afraid. See, I feel like it's a good thing that San Francisco's in town. Like right after the game, Howie's going to be like, "Hey, come here."
That'd be awesome. I mean, it'd be
Let's talk. Come in my office. What do you want?
If we were able to make a deal with a team that we hopefully beat, and I think we will, it'll be pretty unorthodox. I don't think I've ever
and Joe Staley into our office.
Hey, man, you get the deal done in person the old-fashioned way, right?
Hey, Joe, you want your own custom locker room? Like what you want?
Yeah. Oh, man. He'll probably want the guarantee that Jason Peters doesn't come back.
I want to be the bodyguard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At this point, like, now that the little more we've talked about, I've had to kind of, like, sit in my head. Just go get it done is what I'm thinking. I mean, unless Big V plays, like, phenomenal, like, really well, just go get it done. Because – and what if there's another injury? You know?
Then it's Taylor Hart. We're up next.
Oh, God. Or like Samalu. Oh, I don't know. Can't have that, man. We can't have that. And that's what I just said like a couple minutes ago. Depth is so important.
Yeah.
Even, like Big V's good to get you through a couple games. Like if there's another injury, Lane Johnson, God forbid, goes down, or even Big V. Like if we bring another guy in there. I mean, we saw what happened when Tobin was in last year. It was horrible. And this is our franchise quarterback we're talking about protecting here. Yep. If something happens to him, this city's going to riot. Literally riot. It would be so bad.
For real, dude. That's our Ginger, our Savior, Lord Ginger Jesus Christ. What else? I mean, that's about it for the show. The thing that I was saying yesterday too in the Hicks and Peters video, there's more free agent linebackers out there than there are free agent tackles. There's Brandon Albert, that's like the big name, but he's another guy that was like he thought about retiring, then he unretired, then he got cut, and like he hasn't played. I wouldn't want to bring him in here. Will Beatty is available. No, don't want him. I did write down some like average names that we could trade for, like Adrian Waddle or like a Santrell Henderson, but none of those names are really, honestly, even better than Big V.
Yeah, so. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, you don't want to give up picks for someone that's not going to be a significant upgrade over Big V.
Yeah, exactly. Kelvin Beachum was the one guy I was thinking of.
Okay, yeah, I see. Now I know who that is. The other two guys I have not heard of, and I know a lot of linemen because I was one.
Oh, I got more. I mean, I looked. Like,
I know you got names for games.
I looked at every depth chart, and I realistically looked at, all right, would they trade because not only do you need to have a team that's kind of out of it, they also have to have enough depth for them to trade somebody. Yeah. So even like a team like Buffalo, I don't even know if they would want to trade like a Cordy Glenn or a Santrell Henderson because they're like 4 or 5 tackles deep and they drafted somebody this year. So maybe they would look to move somebody. But a guy like Cordy Glenn, who's their left tackle and their cornerstone left tackle, would they want to trade him when, well, look what they're doing this year. They went from being in tank mode. Now they're
no, it's unbelievable, man. Look at Miami bounce back too. Talking about that division, it's been some impressive football out of those teams, but yeah, I mean, it's. I think it really is going to be Joe Staley or a guy that we haven't really heard of because the other guys are like either really expensive or they're old and they haven't played. Like Brandon Albert, I thought of too, and it's just like he got cut. Like it's just a name that we know that he was good at one point. I mean, what are some of the linebackers out there?
They worked out 3 last week. Jelani Jenkins,
I've heard of him.
who he used to be on Miami. He's like a
Yeah.
zone kind of cover guy that can do a little bit. You got Donald Butler, who was good with the Chargers until he signed a fat contract and he got lazy, like Albert.
Yeah.
And then God, there's another one. Sean Spence they worked out. So there are options at linebacker. There are always options at linebacker. Like if you remember, Andy Reid was always stubborn when drafting linebackers. But the reason why is out of all the positions on the field, linebacker is one where you can kind of get away with, I feel like, with an injury, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and also if every other position is doing their job, like they kind of surround the middle of the field. So
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the linebacker, like they just got to kind of cover their ground. It's
I mean,
and they're better. It's a luxury.
Andy Reid never really went after linebackers. Like they had Trotter, but
They let him go once.
yeah. Like they it wasn't a prioritization for him.
Nope. That's so I agree that Jason Peters is definitely the biggest loss. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they make any moves. I mean, they've got no time, so pretty much evaluate the game tape and figure it out on Monday.
Yeah. All right. We could do final thoughts time now. Did you make a prediction?
I mean, yeah, I'll go with I did a bad weather, good weather one. I'll just go with say it's 20. I'll go 20. 20. Let's go 30-17.
Boom. There it is.
30-17. Final thoughts for me. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh, I said 34-17.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Carson Wentz is on a roll. I mean, I want to see him keep it going. The numbers he's on pace for are unbelievable. I mean, I think he's surpassing everyone's expectations. And you and I were two of the highest people on him that I know or I knew. I mean, now everybody knows about him. I heard somebody already call him a top 5 quarterback in the league. I'm just going to say, man, I'm really thankful we got him. Thank you, Howie. Don't know how you did it. Got rid of a freaking bum and Maxwell and moved up to 8 and basically robbed Cleveland, and that's why Cleveland will forever suck. So I'm just glad we finally got this guy, dude. It's like the guy we've been waiting for forever. Really, it's awesome.
Speaking of the Cleveland Browns, that's what 97.5 The Fanatic is becoming. You're telling me that I am not a top 20 free agent out in Philadelphia right now? Are you kidding me?
100% agree, man. You should definitely be on the radio.
A bunch of clowns. 97.5. Jeez, man, can't even get an email response. Maybe I'm contacting the wrong station.
I think you are, man. WIP. They've got the good people over there, man.
I'll tell you what, Spike Eskin knows talent. I'll give him that.
Hey, I mean, they've been doing good in the ratings. They all have. So
yeah. Well, my logic was like, well, 97.5 is trash right now, and they kind of need people. So, all right, well, why not reach out?
They could use people, honestly. Their midday show's been bad.
Well, I don't think they know talent, dude.
They don't. They obviously don't. I mean, then I don't like Gargano at all. Like,
I also heard with who they offered jobs to, and I'm better than both of them. There was a guy named Perry Liss who I destroyed on the air. Like we had a LeBron James, Michael Jordan argument. I killed him, murked him, and I forget who the other guy is, but I think
I feel like it's not even knowledge anymore. They just want guys with different opinions to appeal to different people, and it's just stupid.
There's a guy named Event Status on YouTube. Now this guy could be lying. I don't believe him, because I've seen this guy's videos, and like he wouldn't last around with me, so. I don't believe that this guy was offered anything, but this Perry Liss guy, I can believe it. But I was with him on the air. I was on 6:10 a.m. and I freaking destroyed him. So I don't know. I don't think that guy could beat me. I guess it's about who you know. And, you know, I know I'm with Brace right now. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Because obviously, you know, Sean Brace and the fallout from 97.5, that whole thing wasn't good.
There's a lot of people that had a fallout from 97.5, man. I don't know what's going on over there, but it just doesn't. There's been a lot of people leaving. I mean, you've seen two people leave and come to WIP.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I should get a break soon. I mean, I see John McMullen. He's on 97.3. I used to work with him. Problem is, he's older. So that's the I think sometimes like someone will look at me, think I'm like too young and inexperienced. I don't know. I
Just
don't know.
keep trucking away, man. Keep trucking away. Don't be opposed to taking a job for a year or two out in another city either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But my final thought: if 97.5, the Fanatic, if they want to pass on me, if they want to be the Cleveland Browns and let me go to WIP, then they should never be allowed to air in Philadelphia again. That's my final thought. And one more thing. We never talked about Alshon Jeffrey today. So I'll just say this real quick. I've been waiting for him to break out for 3 weeks now. Hasn't happened. I still think like he takes pressure off everyone, but at the same time, I do want to see some more from him. Is that fair to say?
I think it definitely is. I mean, whether it's him and Wentz not being on the same page, whether it's just the play calling, maybe we're just not giving him enough plays. I don't think it's that. And maybe he's just lost a step. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of odd. And some of the 50-50 balls he hasn't gone up and got. But I agree. He's definitely taking pressure off other guys. You have to pay attention to him. You can't leave him one-on-one. And especially the way Carson's throwing the ball now. I think it's only a matter of time until he breaks out. But I don't think he's going to consistently put together a dominant stretch like I thought he would in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
My thoughts have gone from him being like for us potentially like a number one, like legitimate number one receiver to like, he's a good two.
Yeah.
Which in the NFL, how many legitimate number ones are there? There's really not, like, if you think of it that way, it's really not that many.
I feel like he's a number one, but a low end number one.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about number one, like AJ Green, Antonio, like elite. Like he can obviously be a number one. Like he's one of the top 32 best receivers in the league.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not like I thought he might be able to potentially get to a top 10 numbers wise, not skill set wise.
I had him at number 10 in my wide receiver rankings, and I've always liked Alshon Jeffrey. Now I think there's some with the chemistry because of the back shoulder ball. I mean, this is something I've said. I don't think Wentz has this throw in his arsenal right now. And that's what Jeffrey does best. So I think there's a problem there. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing him catch the 50-50 balls this year. Like, it seems like, I don't know, there's something up with that. I mean, if there's a game he should break out, it's this one.
Yeah.
I said it last week, too.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, and also, I mean, the one good thing about him is he's played every game, which is pretty odd for him. So I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. Like I say all the time, like we're just going to have to wait and see because – we can't call the plays for him. We can't tell Carson to start throwing back shoulder more. And Carson's got to trust him to do it, man. And if he doesn't trust him to go get the ball, it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
They might not re-sign him. I mean, it's a possibility, especially if Jernigan, I would prioritize 100% over Alshon, honestly.
It's kind of reaching that level. It's getting there. If we'll see what happens the second half of the season. But it seems like the chemistry just we'll see if it's not there all season, but it's not there right now. So
crazy. You look at Carson worked out with Matt Collins. Matt Collins is a guy Carson once wanted, drafted for this team. Yeah. He's already started. I want to see him start getting more playing time. Like Torrey Smith hasn't really done much yet. I mean, screw it. See, I'm not going to give up on Smith or Alshon yet, but like you're seeing – Hans has every time. I think he's caught almost every ball thrown to him. He hasn't had that much. Aguilar and Wentz have the chemistry. Ertz, obviously. I mean, it's just whether it's just going to take a full offseason for them to just work with Carson or if it's just some guys click better with him than others. I mean, Who knows? But I definitely hope that Smith and Alshon can get it going a little bit because it'll be a lot better for us as a team.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to end it on that note. It's funny because we talked pre-show like, oh, man, how's the show going to go? We'll be lucky to go 30 minutes. And actually, might be our longest preview of the season.
Yeah, because we just, it was like it was kind of like a halfway through like evaluation.
I don't even know what the hell this was. It wasn't even a game preview.
It was not a game preview. It was just an Eagles talk.
We talked about the game for maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it should be a win. So if it's not, you'll hear from us next week and might end up being maybe I'll jump in on the recap. What the hell?
Right. Well, if we lose, the first video I'm watching is EDP. So
oh my gosh,
that'll be my first thing I do. But with that being said, we'll end the show on that note. So that's James Worthington. I'm Adrian Fedke. 97.5. If you're watching this, stop being a fucking Browns.